The folktale is an oral history of black life. Storytellers speak the language of their community through the protest tale, the religious tale, the obscene toast, and the dirty dozens.
Old tradition. Rap is part of the old tradition. It comes from toasting. Toasting was about the life, and the life was about hustlers. Who did what to survive,
The toast is a black vernacular poetic form that prefigured rapping in hip-hop culture, but the aesthetic foundations of the genre extend back to slavery. Typically comprised of rhymed couplets, toasts are poetic narratives that often feature rough and rowdy characters who inspire fear in blacks as well as whites. As an art form, the toast requires an exacting memory, the ability to act, and an adept understanding of the musical and onomatopoeic potential of the English language.
Really, the preachers rhymed, the gambling house rhymed, ate Decatur, the barking alligator, let me have two till Lou get through. This is what we heard in the gambling houses if you was in the street. You heard poetry constantly.
So this is going on all the time in the streets and barbershops.
Toasts are long, epic poems traditionally performed in a dramatic fashion. While related to trickster narratives, which are stories that incorporate unlikely heroes who manage to overcome adverse situations using solely their superior wits, the toast incorporates the badman theme with unlikely heroes including poor workers, pimps, players, and hustlers. Toasts utilize humor via excessive profanity, sexual innuendo, irony, and verbal wit. They are often performed in communal settings such as barbershops, pool halls, or even block parties as a source of entertainment and boasting. The toaster, person who performs the toast, attempts to present the toast in an exaggerated, comedic fashion to win over the audience. The audience's role in the event impacts the delivery of the toast. A master toaster responds to the audience's reaction by altering aspects of the poem to their tastes, thereby emphasizing certain parts and obscuring others.
It was a full moon in the middle of June, in the summer of '59. I was young and cool and shot a bad game of pool and hustled all the chumps I could find. Well, now they call me sport, cause I pushed the bar short and loved all the women to death. I partied hard and packed a mean rod and could knock you out with a right or a left. I'd learned to shoot pool, playing hooky from school at the tender age of 9. And by the time I was 11, I could pad roll 7 and down me a whole quart of wine. I was making it a point to smoke me a joint at least once during the course of a day. And I was snorting scab while other kids played tag and my elders went to church to pray. I pitched pennies and down bennies and played the horses at the track. I wanted cards against tremendous odds, and my favorite game was blackjack. I seldom lost cause my game was so boss. I mean, I had my shit down pat, and I was running through bitches like rags to riches, cause that's where my heart was at. Yes, I was a down stud's dream, a hustler supreme. There wasn't no game that I couldn't play. And if I caught a dude cheating, I would give him a beating, and I might even blow him away.
Signifying, toasting, jiving, testifying, and the dozens all came together in the most formalized of the slaves' oral traditions, and the most directly reminiscent of rapping, toasting. These were essentially epic rhymes told and retold, adapted and expanded over generations, as a form of entertainment. Toasts, the most famous of which include, the Signifying Monkey, Stackley, Shine in the Titanic, and Dolomite, could involve explicit language, sexuality, and violence, as well as plenty of humor and folk wisdom. and the performance was as important as the rhymes and stories told in the toasts. A good toast needed to be recited with drama and flair, and audiences responded best to the most energetically performed toasts.
You know,
Stackingly.
yeah, he was a bad man, you know. He sure enough was, you know. Like I say, he's out, he walked through water, they walked through mud, and they came to this place they called a bucket of blood. You know what I mean?
I've heard.
He went and asked the bartender for a little something to eat. He gave him a dirty glass of water, that tough ass piece of meat. You know what I mean? He said, say, man, so you don't know where I am. He said, Frank, my man, said, I wouldn't give a goddamn. You know what I mean? He said, my name is Stacker Lee. He said, you may be bad. Your name may be Stag. He said, but you better not be when that bad bit of lounge gets back. By that time he's going to rest, I'd pump 6 of these motherfucking rockets in his goddamn chest, you know. By that time his mother came out behind the bar. I know my son can't be dead. I said, look at that hole in that dirty mother's head. Stack, you know. After a while, she said, you may be bad. Your name may be Stack. But you better not be here when that bad bit of lounge gets back. By that time, you can hear a pin hit the floor. That bad bit of lounge just walked in the door. He said, Stack, I'm gonna allow you a chance to run before I reach my garden. By that time, one of them prostitutes said, Billy, please. By that time, he shot the whore in both her knees. But some winehead got the light. By that time, I had Billy dead in my sight. Time the lights come back on, oh Billy was going to rest, you know. I'd pump 6 more rockets to his mother chest. They got me under the jail. Who can this man's murder be? Somebody say you better speak softly because his name is Stacker Lee. One of them hoes said, give him murder in the first degree. One of them hoes jumped up, you know. Get this motherfucking pussy free.
I hope I'm every bit as much as that man.
Jokes. Toasts usually concern the life of the underworld, pimps, hustlers, whores, winos, and junkies, and are composed of long, some have over 200 lines, and complex metrical arrangements that are recited in a rhythmic, slightly musical, rifting distinguish between society toasts and bad man toasts, e.g., Stackley, and other toasts, such as the signifying monkey, both of which have appeared in several collections. Society toasts, unlike the other types, lack obscenities, are appropriate for mixed company, have a greater frequency of internal rhyme, have a moralistic tone, and obtain close identification between the storyteller and the main characters. In their performance, toasts showcase the speaker's skill in expressing the characteristics of the story's protagonist, often pitting a bad man, trickster against everybody else. A skillful raconteur combines rhymed couplets while displaying his voice inflections and body movement to mimic the hero and his foes. Jemmy calls such a performance the apex of the modern tradition of African American oral poetry. In the introduction to Yo, Mama, New Raps, Toasts, Dozens, Jokes and Children's Rhymes from Urban Black America.
December the 7th, 41. That's when the Second World War had just begun. The Tammy Mussolini was holding out his paw and trying to get the European countries under Hitler's law. Oh, no. But if you have a little patience, I'm going to tell it to you. Yeah. The first thing they done, they got rid of the Jews. No. But Great Britain got trouble in mind. She rushed the poor boys to define life. No. Late better than that, the Germans bombed beautiful Paris late one night. They had to look to Americans for to get supplies. Yeah. They loaded up the vessel and started across, but the news reached back that the vessel was lost. Mr. Roosevelt didn't see that. No. He said, I just can't see. Why Adolf Hitler trying to rule the sea? He sent him a message right straight from the phone to look at Hitler, leave my vessel alone, don't waste our time. But old Tojo was back in the States. Him and Miss Roosevelt could not communicate. Old Japan went to her goodbye and she wouldn't fight on either side. She was a nation that would Naga. You know what she did, turned it around and bum Pearl Harbor. I don't know, but I was told that's the way Pearl Harbor base got stolen. No, you told. Said it bummed Pearl Harbor from belly to belly. The first one they got was Captain Kelly. Of course, he earned his medal, though, just before he died. When his mother received a letter, naturally she cried because it was the time. But you know why we come in at? Negro soldiers standing at attention, they were the poor boys never to mention. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you about the colored man. December the 7th, 41, that's when the Yanks taught him how to man the gun. He stepped on deck and he got dead aim. He brought a Japanese bomber down in flames. Yeah. Some got wounded and some got killed, but naturally we know. God's holy Bible got the full field. I found out later, though, the rational and rubber, so it's gasoline. I had to get my blackhead in the Philippines. That's where I was at the time. What'd you say you didn't know? I was in the Philippines. That's a big deal.
Long before we ever heard about hip-hop in LA, I was writing rhymes. It started off when I was at Crenshaw High, as a form of self-defense. I learned that using my verbal gymnastics was a good way to keep the gangbangers off my bumpers. We didn't call it rapping back then. It was toasting. Players and pimps like Iceberg Slim had been toasting, putting their fly talk to rhyme, for ages. My toasts were my first attempts at being a writer, at being a storyteller. I used to call them my crip rhymes. When I fell in the party there was women for days. I was looking crazy in some hellified ways. I just walked in the corner, listened as they talked. First James Brown record I jumped up and crip walked.
There was no one more eloquent than Iceberg Slim, or no more poetic, or more accurate in terms of describing where he came from.
I was in a bar, and there was a fellow arguing with another fellow. and this fellow drew a gun and fired at the fellow, and the bullet went through my hat. I was full of cocaine at the time, and I didn't react. So my friend said, "Man, you were so cool." He says, "You were icy." And they called me Iceberg Slim.
Thick eyes, but she full of surprises. I swear this bitch is shady. That's what I know. Sex on her mind all the time, and you think that that's your baby. You don't know you a good guy that's living alive, but she told him where you're safe. That's what I know. If you cool and she's satisfied, how come that bitch just pays me? You don't know.
Although he couldn't know it at the time, Beck was witnessing one of the origins of gangster rap and hip-hop in these toasts. A Pimp Toast was a long, profane poem that was performed orally and emphasized exaggerated sexual humor. It was composed of creatively rhymed couplets, often improvised, and featured punning, wordplay, and aggressive boasting. Although no one is exactly sure of the toast's origins, it most likely had its roots in black urban street culture at the turn of the 20th century. 7 toasts were probably first performed in barbershops, in bars, and on street corners where working-class black men congregated. The most well-known toasts included, the signifying monkey, Stackily, and shine. In each toast, the speaker creatively bragged about a folk hero's cleverness or badness. Like the dozens in the Pimp book, these toasts grew out of African American oral expressions, and they became the direct forerunners of the comedy of Rudy Ray Moore and the gangsta rap of N.W.A., Ice-T, and Snoop Dogg.
Broadway Sam, the Big Mac Man. You ought to know the name. I almost cried the day he died. It was a dirty shame. He liked to play on old Broadway. That's how he got his name. He lived off the hicks from out in the sticks. He was a master of the long shoe game. He was always pressed, nothing but the best. Vines and kicks he had, a $30 lid, and gloves of kid. Man, his threads were bad, white on whites and black skin tights, and a belt of pure crocodile. When he stepped out, all the hoes would shout. But Sam, why, he just smiled. He was riding high. His limit was the sky. He had all kinds of dough. But he became a junkie, a low-down flunky, when he pulled a dope fiend hoe. Her name was Mabel, and she was able to turn 8 kinds of tricks. You'd flip your lid over that kid if you were a hick from the sticks. She was the best in the East and the West. Once, a long time ago, but an armful of junk will take all the spunk out of the very best hoe. She said, "Hey, baby, I don't mean maybe. Give this stuff a try." So he blew his fade. He lost the game. He went and got himself high. He was king of them all, till he took that fall, till he made that fatal slip. He thought he was boss when he shot that horse. He thought he was being hip. 2 months it took till he got hooked on the pleasure of the kings. When he got caught with his money lost, he had to hock his things. He pawned his clothes, he lost his homes. He really did come down. the king of them all, had started his fall. The king had lost his crown. His clothes were tattered, but that didn't matter. Not to Sam, at least. As long as Mabel, his hoe, was able to satisfy his beast. When she went to jail, Sam had no bail to cut old Mabel loose. It was there and then, the moment when Sam just cooked his goose without his hoe to bring him dough. Sam started to get sick. He got so sick, he went down on a mick. Big Sam had turned the trick. Yes, Broadway Sam, the Big Mac Man, had really fallen down. He was Sam the Fag, in or out of drag, the funkiest junkie in town. They found him dead, dog shit under his head, on an alley floor. Poor faggot Sam, that once was a man, had his asshole tore. Just what went down in that part of town on that terrible night, no one knows, but some suppose that he just lost a fight. But I don't buy that. I know where it's at. He died of an overdose. And every night, when the moon is bright, you can see his ghost on old Broadway, where he used to play. He moans his way around, looking for Mabel, that hoe that was able, the bitch that brought him down. Yes, I knew him, and the broad that slew him. He played the game, and he searched for fame, but a faggot, he died in shame.
That's boss, my man. Real boss.
Hey, let me dust you off there. And you'll be cleaned in a boy's house.
Why not? I'm as free as the breeze, and I do as I please. Besides, don't take nothing but a little money. Here you go, baby.
Fun loving, you're a scholar and a gentleman.
Thank you. Say, sweet meat. Well, now, I don't mean to be dipping into y'all's business, but I've been listening to you dudes talk about women, and I want to run down a little something to you. Now, all you need to get a woman is a strong rap. Hey, what I say. Every woman in the streets wants a piece of me. They call me Sweet Peter Jeter, the broom beater. The baby maker and the cradle shaker. The deer slayer, the bug binder, and the women's finder. I am known from the Gold Coast to the rocky shores of Maine. Fun loving is my name. And love is my game.
Said love is my game.
I'm the bed tucker, the milk shaker, the record breaker, and the population maker. The humdinger, the gunslinger, and the baby bringer. I am fun loving the hard hitter, and the polynusa getter. The judge, the sludge, the women's pet, the men's fret, and the family's pinup boy. Fun loving the trickster. I said fun loving the berry picker, the city slicker, and the candy licker. Ain't giving up nothing nothing but bubble gum and hard time, and I'm fresh out of bubble gum. Oh, I'm the man who walked the water and tied the whale's tail in a knot. I taught the fish how to swim, crossed the burning sand, and shook the devil's hand. I rolled around the world on a snail carrying a sack that said, airmail. I walked 49 miles of barbed wire, and I used a cobra snake for a necktie. Yes, I'm hip to them, the women champ. Women fight for my delight. I am a bad dude. Johnny Ripsaw, the devil's son-in-law. I gave a highway patrolman a speeding ticket and sold a blind man a flashlight. I am the only man in the world that knows why white milk make yellow butter. I even know where the lights go when you cut the switch on. Now, I might not be the baddest man in the world, but I'm in the top 2, and my father is getting old.
Shit, my father is getting old. You really so.
You know what I mean? Niggas broke out in a goddamn rage. I even think I seen a sawed-off gauge. But homie, I was sent from hell, not heaven. I broke out with the chrome-plated 357. And the name of the game is simply survival. At the end of the night, 10 was dead on arrival. And me and my partners, we was gone like the winds. Police blamed it on the Crips of the Brims. But some niggas knew in the corner in the dark, them crazy niggas reside in Triangle Park. They go by the name of Burnett, Zell, and Trey. And they belong to the association called the EPA. And that's when we called ourselves the Eliminators Pimpin' Association. Yeah.
I know, I be trying to fuck all the time.
Now, this is, I was doing this, just how I entertained you, pre-rap. I had never heard rap. So I'm in the Army, and rap came out, and I could do that. But then I tried to do that rhyme over beats. It's not made for beats.
Right.
And I just started to try to write shit within the beat. And then I came home from the Army, and I wanted to be a DJ, but I found out I would get more